it sounds like I enjoyed my movie a little bit more than you did. It does crack me up that we both watched Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just know I'm not the audience for it. I know I've watched... Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello! It's me!
If we seem like we have a lot of energy today, it's because it's been a little bit since we've recorded, and Itisdpayne has finally gotten through his very busy month.
My busy month, my colds.
Yeah, and we mentioned that it would be a long time before you guys got an update on Charity Palooza because of the way that our recording schedule was, so you can let the people know.
I have hair, so we didn't hit the goal for me to shave off my head if you guys are watching the video. Shave off my head.
Who needs it? You could turn into Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, I could run for politics. They don't use their heads. So we raised $1,120 for One Up on Cancer, which was really cool. For people who don't know, I did a 24-hour stream, which was my first and only time ever going to be doing that for this current era of Itisdpayne. There could be more in the future, but that's future's me's problem, and I'm not going to worry about it. Right now, I have the confusion of what do I do with all this time now?
See, and that's what I turn into, and I unfortunately didn't really fill it with anything. I kept telling myself I would start projects, and instead I just kind of, well, I guess I would say I do meet with people a lot more outside of the house, like going to more book clubs, and I've thought about doing craft nights at different places. So.
I would say, like, maybe not what you originally thought, but no, I think you definitely filled your time. Like, from what, like, as you were saying, like, people, if this is your first episode, a little bit of Pointless Discourse lore. Both of us used to be streamers, so that's actually how we met. And if you guys wanted to see how we interacted before we talked on a microphone about movies, you could go to my channel somewhere on YouTube and find us playing TFT.
I might have one as well. Man, I haven't checked that YouTube in I don't know how long. Now I'm painfully curious. But yeah, so I'd say, I think for me now is it 3 years now? Something like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I'm scrolling on the apps and things that I have on my phone, the one that I was most active on where I was making Stardew Valley content, I think it says in there I'm like 29. So that's why I said, like, I think it's 3 years.
Yeah, I don't use that app anymore. They asked for like permissions for, like, it was after they sold, and there's like, hey, can we have permission to spy on your phone? I'm like, heck no, you can do that through Instagram. Bye. So I have noticed that there's been a lot less scrolling. I don't know. All my search algorithm stuff either goes to Meta or China. So but yeah, it's no, that's how it started, and then I don't know. I don't even remember how. Well, no, the podcast, the way it started, I think someone was like, "Oh my goodness, the way you guys banter off each other, you guys should do a podcast." And then it was like, I think I asked, "Do you wanna?"
And we both were just not leaving the house due to circumstances of the times, and we were like, "Why not?
I was ugly.
Why not?" It was you haven't watched SpongeBob, but I was gonna reference immediately the Stinky Breath episode.
I haven't watched a lot of SpongeBob, but my brothers did, and I have like a vague recollection of that. Oh yeah, it's like when they all think they're ugly, but they just had a really stinky. They had breath. Onions or something.
Yeah, they had like a full on.
Don't they like melt a building?
Yeah, they basically murder people with their breath.
Yeah, the dream.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I have clips on my Twitch from 6 years ago now. Oh, That can't be the latest. Whatever. I'm not gonna think about that too much.
Let's see. Do I have... Oh, here's the train. Go to my creator dashboard right here. Did anyone clip anything from TwitchCon? Not TwitchCon. The clips. Did anyone clip anything from Charity Palooza? Oh, yeah, they did. There was only one clip. I had to be blindfolded for like a minute, and I ran off the cliff like 5 times in a row in like a minute and died. So, but yeah. So I will say I did start one of my projects, but I won't bring it up because that's probably going to make you think of your poo-poo pee-pee. And guys, if you want to know the context for that, well, you have to be in the preamble, which is not recorded.
Yeah, we have no Patreon. If you find us on Patreon, it's not us.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you find one. No, yeah, as Itisdpayne is saying, I guess you guys get an update next episode because our recording is actually, with our timelines of things, is really close to the actual event. Silly old me decided, hey, writing a short story, how hard could that be? Not remembering that the thing that I submitted to was also for an open mic where they want you to read the story for a contest for people to vote on. So, who knows? You guys might get a report next episode that I found a way to completely embarrass myself on stage. Maybe it's pee-pee poo-poo. Maybe it's mama fool up. Or mom pick me up, I'm scared. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, man. I love that cat meme. Mama fool up.
Just stay at it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. But if you showed up here just for us to talk movies, we will get there. I promise. Mm-hmm. It's been a little bit, but the last wheel we spun was to watch the movie from the highest grossing movie from the year you were born. And I had to adjust mine a little bit because I had already seen the first one. And Itisdpayne and we didn't write this explicitly as a rule, even though we have a bunch of rules that we force ourselves to abide by each episode. Yeah. But kind of an unspoken rule of not rewatching something you've already watched before. Because we both have had a lot of fun discovering movies or finding excuses to watch movies that have been like on our list to watch for forever. Mm. And the wheel has been forcing us to like dig through the archives of movies, and there's a lot of movies. At least this one has a definitive list, and we didn't have to like sort through stuff.
Well, if anyone remembers the last episode, I was like, oh, I can't watch that. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. And then it was like, I think it was like the 4th movie, and then I came back from China, and I was like, what? Let me look here. What's around? And then I was like, wait a second. I haven't actually watched the second movie on the list.
Mine was also the second.
I think it was the second. I'm too lazy to look at it. It was the second or the third.
You. Yeah.
It was either Lethal Weapon 2 or the movie I watched. I don't remember what.
That's okay. So I will ask before we dive into movies, do we have any rules that pertain? We do not have the same color outfits or t-shirts, so we don't have to worry about that rule. It was my prompt that got picked. So I have to talk about the last meal I ate. And then otherwise it's rolling dice?
Yeah, the dice is on what? Sneaking train? Go away. Yeah. I guess did our movie start with the same letter?
Oh, that we'll find out once we start yapping. All right. So if you would like to, would you like to pick the dice for this week?
Yeah. I'm going to pick the die that I was rolling all weekend for Charity Palooza. And the D4. I don't know how many times the D4 has been chosen.
We have a chart somewhere.
Yeah, I see it. It was chosen exactly 4 times, and now this is the 5th.
You've ruined the D4s.
It's okay.
Turn it into a D5.
It's like the die goes just turns.
Okay. I rolled.
So did I. I kind of. I saw what it is. These die, they look like marbles, like old school marbles.
The clear ones with like swirls in them.
The problem is like the D4 where it lands, I can't read the number. So I'm like, where is it? Well, I have a middle lane roll.
Oh, I have the lowest roll.
Oh, I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 1. So
Well, you
I will
have to
be
go
going
first.
I'll be going first. So then you rolled the higher number. So what's the last book you read?
Should we say the book we're currently reading or the last one we finished?
Last time I did book, I finished, but you can interpret it however you want.
Well, okay. I'll do the last book I finished. You know what? Yeah, I'll do the last book I finished, and then if I get it again, then I'll bring it up.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah, move on to the next one. I read a book that you've actually read, Monstrilio.
My baby boy.
Yes.
I don't have my purse with me. My horror book club read it, and one of the artists there fell in love with a little boy so much that she drew him, and he was our pins.
Yes.
But anyway, you can talk about the boy.
So yeah, this book, if you guys want to hear about it a little bit more in depth, because I know Hop talks about it in one of our end of the book recaps here.
Yeah, it is. When I think of like favorite modern books, that's like.
Yeah, I was trying to see. I don't see it here. So maybe it was I remember you talking about it, but I don't see it written down.
I could just be a yapper. I do tend to yap about books I really like.
And I don't know if it was the end of the year thing or if it was the bookish special. It was a bookish special.
Okay, so where it's just like any book that we...
Yeah. Yeah, so this was the end of the year. So I think it was actually the first one we did. So this would have been 2023. Doesn't seem right. Anyway. So you just got to go back and find that one. But yeah, essentially this is a story of a family dealing with grief and that grief literally living with them. And just not being able to move on, where essentially this married couple, like, to do a brief overview, this married couple, they have a son who has a lung issue. I don't remember the exact medical thing.
He was born with one lung.
One lung, okay. And he wasn't supposed to make it as long as he did, but I think he was like 7 or 8 years old, and then he passed away, and within hours of him passing away, the mom decides to take a piece of his lung, and from there, as she kind of gives space and everything, here's a story about feeding that body part, like feeding a story of someone feeding a heart that grew into a man. So she decides to do that, and this piece of lung grows into a boy, and it's not completely human, but it's like it kind of gets into that. We're not doing bookish episodes, so I'm not going to go fully into it, but it's the storytelling is, I think it's only like 6 chapters, but it's all from like a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And as it goes through time, and it's like there's characters that while you're reading, it's like, you're a butt, I don't like you, but at the same time I can feel where you're coming from.
I unfortunately understand the decisions you've made.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, they did a really good job on it.
That's much cuter than what I imagined.
All of us said that we love him because we all imagine him as a baseball with a little appendage. But yeah, if one of the lines on the book, like, you know how there's blurbs from other authors, says it's like a modern day Frankenstein, and I think that's a very apt way of describing it, because it's a story in terms of like you know, Monstrilio is more or less created and has these expectations placed on him. But like you said, it's told from different perspectives. So different people want different things. And Monstrilio is just like, I'm just a ball of fur. I am simply a ball of fur.
And I'm hungry.
And I'm hungry all the time. But it's a great allegory and use of horror for, like you said, like the manifestation of grief, because it's
they can't
unceasing. Move on. Yeah. But like also the idea, there is the discussion about the creature itself is like, it's unsustainable with the way that they're all pretending that it's okay.
And so, like, I was going off of what I remember you saying about the story, and I didn't realize that it was like if you mentioned each chapter was a different perspective, I forgot because it's been a couple of years since we talked about it, and so I was like, oh, okay. And then, like the bits and bobs that I remember from our conversation, it was like I remember, like I was like, oh, okay, but it's like the way it progresses. It's not where I was expecting it to go. I really like the ending. I like how it ends. I think that's the way, as we said, the talking about grief and everything. It's I liked how that was done. And I just feel really sorry for Lena or Lena, or however you say her name. She didn't deserve any of that. She's too good for that whole family.
They were roped in from the beginning. They had a whole bunch of issues. They had like mommy issues, and then they see it being kind of played out and being like, she's so likable, but why is she choosing these things? I don't want to have to be the burden. You know, like she's burdened with having essentially two people that she cares about hate each other and have different expectations, and she's just in the middle going, how do I make you happy?
Yeah, and then she finally gets free, and then she's pulled back in. I'm like, no, you were out.
You were free.
And then it's like, so, but
it's a very messy. I remember it was my recommendation. I brought it to Horror Book Club, and a lot of them really enjoyed it. And there was someone that came, and he was like, this is a 5-star read for me, but in the selfish way that I don't trust to tell anybody else about this book, because this book is like, it feels too personally, you know, like I can imagine that I could recommend this to someone else and they wouldn't understand it, and that would make me upset because like I really like the book, and I'm glad that you also like feel things, because I had some people at Horror Book Club say they didn't care about Lena at all, and I was just like, it's okay. That's, you know, just the character I saw myself the most in, but that's okay. I don't hire people to give me
cleaning
to help me feel again, thankfully. But there are different aspects of, you know, like you said, the circumstances that she finds herself in where she can't be right, even though that's kind of her whole character's goal, is to be able to be the best version for everybody.
There's something else that I don't know, it could be a little bit of a spoiler for it, so just like I don't want to say it on there, but it's like while reading it, it's just like, everyone, the way they started off relationship wise ends up different.
Yeah, there was somebody that I thought was really funny where they said that they came into the book and they read about the first perspective, and the first perspective, they're like, I feel so bad for them. And then in the end was like, how did the author make me feel so sad for someone that I end up hating so much by the end of the book?
I never liked them. It was like, but
it's like you said, like, you're like, I understand how you got here, but somehow you ended up a really, really shitty person with
that whole show, no.
I know, and then anyway, we're supposed to talk about movies.
Yeah. No about this anymore. Don't worry, next time I get in there, it won't be as an exciting of a book, because probably only one of us read it.
But yeah, so this was my prompt before I get into my movie, and we have the little rule about talking about the last meal I ate. I'll make it brief since we talked about books for a little bit longer.
Was it an uncooked cow?
Not quite, and thankfully no little domesticated pets or squirrels or very
A rat that you fed over the
yeah,
years.
not the family dog, thankfully. Like, anyway, so I had some leftover bacon grease because I've been going to a local butcher and they've been smoking their own bacon recently, and they had one that was like mesquite.
Okay.
And I asked Strider, I was like, "What's the bacon of the week?" He was like, "The mesquite looks gorgeous." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that one." And we were like, "Oh, this bacon's really good. Let's actually like learn how to like save the little bit of bacon grease because we only get like half a pound of bacon at a time because we are but two people." But yeah, so then oh yeah, I do have a picture. So I saved the bacon grease off, and then I used a tiny bit of bacon grease to cook up some cabbage and onions to go as the side, and then used a little bit of bacon grease for pan searing some cod to go with it.
Okay.
And then had a little bit of crusty bread to go with it to sop up all the flavors.
Nice.
So yeah, and it was tasty.
That's a lot. That's a lot more exciting than what I had. So I'm glad you you got to share.
But yeah, so the one, it was the house cured and smoked mesquite bacon in this picture. Strider and I usually get the triple pepper, but they haven't had it in lately. I know some people, we've tried the roasted garlic, that was pretty good. A lot of people when I was in the store were like, "Oh my god, everything bagel bacon." I was like, that sounds just really messy to
Yeah,
cook,
I saw
but-
that and I was like, maybe. I don't know, what was it? I don't know, they all look interesting. Like
Yeah, sometimes they have a coffee one.
I was wondering what the Bayside bacon was. I'm just like, is that just...
I think it's like Old Bay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like, I couldn't remember what it's called, but I was like, is it that stuff they put on fish?
Crabs, yeah, that stuff. Or fries at the boardwalk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my meal. So is it movie time?
Yes.
The thing that the people have been anticipating. So
The whole reason they clicked on this episode. I lost my pen. Where'd it go?
yeah, so while you get yourself set up. So yeah, so I watched the second highest grossing film for my birth year because I was born in 93 and I had already seen Jurassic Park, and that was like blown out of the water, like the highest grossing movie. And I'm like, of course, Jurassic Park is a masterpiece. So the movie that I watched was The Fugitive.
Oh, with is that
Harrison
Ford?
Ford and Tommy Lee Jones.
I think I watched. Is he the? No, he's not the president. That's Air Force One.
No, he's the doctor. He's the surgeon.
I think I seen bits and pieces of this one.
Yeah, I asked Strider, and he was like, "I'm vaguely familiar. This feels like something that's always on TV, and like like every other channel plays like a movie back in the day where everybody had cable." He was like, "So I think I've watched bits and pieces like on TV." So I don't know if our rule.
It doesn't.
Okay. Anyway, because I know we talked about like, does the count if they both start with the.
Both things don't count. So we're good.
So yeah, so The Fugitive. So I think I forgot to mention the format of this. There will be no spoilers. We'll just talk generally about the movies, our general thoughts, and kind of go back and forth before we spin our wheel for the next prompt. So I will go in and try to avoid spoilers. I mean, it is funny to be worried about spoilers for like a 33-year-old movie. Oh, I'm old.
That reminds me of a reel I saw today where it's like there are kids being born today where their parents were not born when Shrek came out. Anyway, with that bit of knowledge.
It's okay. I've seen memes about, trying to explain to kids. I used to have to pay to send text messages, so I would send everything in abbreviations to save on character limits. But yeah, so The Fugitive is basically a very cat and mouse type of movie where you have Harrison Ford's character opens very abruptly, and like I said this to Strider while I was watching the movie. I was doing one of those, it felt like I was doing live commentary, but only because he was forced to be in the room with me. He was not watching the movie. He was just also in the room with me, and I just couldn't stop commenting on the movie. But I go in and I was like, "Do you think I'll like this movie?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, okay." And the movie opens very abruptly, giving kind of no character context, but very much showing like, hey, Harrison Ford's character has been accused of murdering his wife. He's going to prison for it. And he doesn't have the justice he deserves. And I'm like, okay, pretty straightforward concept, but it has that like quintessential 90s movie editing where like every time they think back to something, it's a bright white light. And I know we saw that in Lynch movies, but like this one was like every time he was like transitioning into another part of the judicial system, it would just be like bright white screen. And I was like, I keep getting frustrated. And there were a lot of scenes where they like had like a helicopter, people with flashlights, and they kept putting it at the screen. I was like, I cannot imagine being in a dark movie theater and having like bright white like flashed in my eyes constantly. But yeah, so it opens very much with what I would describe as a peak male fantasy kind of movie where like there's a lot of action, there's a lot of circumstances where I was like to me, it comes off as the kind of movie where it's like how I listen to people play or watch football being played, where they go, if that were me, I could catch that. And I'm like, well, you're not. And it's like, if I were in that situation, I could get out too, just like Harrison Ford did. I'm like, okay, but this is a movie and it's very dramatized. And there's a lot of things that are kind of being like shrugged off. But yeah, it's a very high action in the beginning. And then because he more or less is able to get away from, I think he is sentenced to the death penalty. He is able to get away from that situation. And it's very clear he wants to, like, try and solve, and prove his innocence regarding the murder of his wife. So he starts trying to track that. But at the same time, because he's an escaped person on death row, they have the U.S. Marshal come in. That's played by Tommy Lee Jones. He's the lead of that group. And it turns into that cat and mouse thing. Very much kind of like, what's the bank heist movie we watched with, like, Denzel Washington and...
Inside Job.
Inside Man? Yeah. It gave that kind of feeling, but instead of it being kind of located in a bank, it was, like, pretty much through all of Chicago. And... it's just like, for lack of a better term, it feels like those kinds of situations that are written up where everybody is really smart until they don't have to be anymore. So like Harrison Ford is like, they keep playing him up to be like this really smart guy who's like a genius, and that everybody around him is also smart. But it just so happens when Harrison Ford is doing the trickery thing, everybody's like, it's my first day on planet Earth. Weird that guy just walked in and I've never seen him work here a day before, but he's in the uniform, like things like that. I joked because like at one point he shaves his beard and uses Rogaine or, Just for Men to dye his hair. And everyone's like, you look a lot like that Wanted poster. And I'm like, yeah, because he just shaved his beard like 5 minutes ago. And then there's another bit where, because he's a surgeon, at one point he does do surgery on himself. And he does, like, clearly take a painkiller. And then after that, never addressed again. Never checks on his stitches. Never bleeds. Never, just, things that are very... I saw reviews on Letterboxd say, like, peak dad movie. And it really is. It's like... But the thing that kept getting to me was the overall dialogue. So the beginning of the movie I didn't really vibe with because it was very heavy action. And in that, like, not quite Michael Bay, like, extreme, but, like, it is, like, a production, clearly. I was like, wow, this was an expensive movie, like, based on the different scenarios they set up. But the one thing that made me laugh is, so like I said, you have Harrison Ford, Dr. Surgeon, trying to prove his innocence, and you have Tommy Lee Jones, U.S. Marshal. They finally end up confronting each other. Harrison Ford points a gun at the U.S. State Marshal, which, is still a crime among itself. But the first thing he says to this U.S. Marshal, pointing a gun at him, I did not kill my wife. And I had to pause the movie and go, sir, you've committed a crime. You pointed a gun at an officer. It doesn't matter if you didn't kill your wife. And then I immediately hit play, and Tommy Lee Jones has his hands up and goes, I don't care. I had to pause the movie again immediately. I was like, what are these circumstances? And then I guess this is a spoiler, but this is something that's gonna bother me for a long time. So, shortly afterwards, Harrison Ford's character is like, I either have to choose to get shot or I jump into a dam through an outtake pipe. And he chooses the latter, and I had to pause, and the dummy clearly slams against the concrete wall, because, you know, they have the zoomed out shot, and they clearly just threw, like a ragdoll physics guy, like, out of the outtake pipe, clearly slams into the concrete wall, and then Harrison Ford goes, anyway, and then walks away, and I was just like, I'm struggling to suspend this disbelief. And I did talk to Strider about it. I was like, how can I watch, like, Escape from New York? How can I watch Total Recall? How can I watch John Wick? And, like, willingly suspend my disbelief for those, but this one I'm struggling. And Strider said it's because they're clearly trying to go for the, they want it to seem realistic, that, like, Harrison Ford is able to pull all of this off. And I was like, I guess so, because I guess in some ways that the story is told, it reminds me of, like, sensationalist news stories that are, like, clickbaity nowadays. Like, you'll never guess what this guy did. You know, that's how it feels like the story is being told. And then after that beginning part, I started to vibe with the next section where it kind of turns more into a mystery, almost kind of like that middle section of Hell or High Water where you have Jeff Bridges following the two brothers, and it's kind of like the constant missteps. But it gets to a point where I was like, guys, this is taking a long time and there's not a lot happening on the screen. Like, there's literally a scene where Tommy Lee Jones is in a helicopter and Harrison Ford is in an ambulance, and I swear it's like, it feels like a half-hour chase scene. And I was like, you could have shown me this in, like, a third of the time. Like, there's a whole lot of nothing happening, but at the same time, there's a lot happening. So there's, like, random bits that feel like dead air to me. I understand that it probably is meant to build tension, but at the same time, I'm like, we're, like, a half hour into the movie. If they catch Harrison Ford, there's no movie. He's gonna find a way to get away. And, but ultimately, like, the overall plot I thought was fine. It's the bad guy is, of course, like, comically bad. The thing that threw me off is there's, like, different points where other people are dying because of this really big wild goose chase, and nobody seems to care that innocent lives are, like, like, but, you know, that's 2026 me. I'm sure in 1993 people were like, that guy was a criminal, so it's okay. Harrison Ford is innocent. And it's like, it's so weird because it's, like, almost woke. Because, like, they kind of keep implying, like, the Chicago PD is like, oh my god, he went through the judicial system, so he must be guilty. And then Harrison Ford and everybody surrounding him is like, nah, I don't think the judicial system actually served justice. But then the side characters that have also been victims of the thing are just like, no, that's a criminal. That's a criminal. I'm like, I see.
Make up your mind.
Yeah. But I did appreciate that the big evil was what it was. It wasn't just one guy. And it's unfortunately a big evil that is still relevant to today. But I won't, in case people don't want spoilers, I won't say exactly what the big bad evil is. But yeah, by the end of it, I was kind of over it. In the sense that I was kind of like, all right, guys. Because it's like, I think we've talked about this with the second Knives Out movie, where it feels like the reason that you have to wait for the ending is because they kind of omit evidence and information. And it feels like that this whole movie where I guess, like, Harrison Ford can't know the information, but for me watching it, I'm like, of course the reveal is all in the last 15 minutes because you didn't tell me any of this. There was no, like, paper trail. Not like the first Knives Out where, like, everything is visible at the beginning, but it's just not talked about. Whereas in The Fugitive, it feels like they just go, Oh, by the way, that time, like, when the wife died, all of this was actually happening at the same time. And I was like, if you hinted it once, it would have been an interesting thing to see how he picks up on the trail.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not a mystery movie. It is like a cat and mouse thriller where it's supposed to be who gets who first, all this silly stuff. But there were various one-liners from Harrison Ford, which is very indicative to the time. I forget what one of the one-liners was, but I think I actively rolled my eyes where I started and went, I love one-liners. And I was like, there it is again. Overall, not a movie for me. I'm not the target audience. I can understand why it made a lot of money. I can understand why a lot of people would review it well. I think technically on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at like a 90-something%. On Letterboxd, it's like four stars, but I don't know. I think I'm bad at turning my brain off. And that's not to say that you have to turn your brain off for the movie. But I think for me, I'm just watching it going like, like I said, I was like, throughout all of the things that Harrison Ford did to prove his innocence, he committed a lot of crimes. So even though he didn't kill his wife, he did a lot of things that I think a lot of people, if it was like unbiased judgment, would be like, well, he did impersonate people. He did take medical records. He did break into different things. He did point and shoot guns at various office, like other things that would also be considered problems. But he's Harrison Ford, so he's a pat on the back.
I wonder that about a lot of movies where it's just like, okay, yeah, you did the thing, you saved, you stopped the big bad, or you revealed the truth. You still did a metric ton of crime, like, to prove yourself. So it's like, you're still going to jail, but not for what you originally were being challenged for.
Yeah. And there's even a part at the end of the movie where, like, no, it's a spoiler, but I rolled my eyes a lot at the whole Harrison Fordisms of it all, I guess is what I'll say, where, like you said, like, you did all of this, but you did a lot of bad things along the way. And while maybe not the most harmful, as, having your wife murdered, still crimes, still illegal. And there's just a lot of, like I said, even throughout the movie, there's literally scenes that I swear, like, Harrison Ford walks into a room and he just doesn't make eye contact with people, and because he doesn't make eye contact with people, it makes him invisible. And I was like, oh, is this a Metal Gear game? Like, what is happening?
I'm like scrolling through the quotes to see if I can find any Harrison Ford one-liners, and then I'm realizing I don't know what his character's name is. He's
Kimball.
Kimball, yeah. Where there was one line I saw, where'd it go? It's after Kimball jumps off of the dam. Sam, sure, are you out of your mind? He's dead. I'll make him easier to catch. And I'm like,
oh yeah, that's, I think, Tommy Lee Jones' character, Gerard.
Yeah, lot. He has a lot more one-liners in here, like, that I'm just scrolling through.
There was one that was, the one that I'm thinking of is, there's a scene,
you missed your stop.
That's the one.
I just saw
because
it.
unsurprisingly, he's on a train when he says it. So that's why I, like, actively rolled my eyes. He's like, he has a confrontation on a train and goes, you missed your stop. And I was like,
you know who also missed their stop but lived through it? The only female character in Predator 2.
I thought you were going to say in the movie you just watched.
Oh, no. There is a train in the movie I watched.
Exciting.
There is a funnier connection between both our movies, though.
But yeah, the thing that threw me the most about watching this movie is I kept recognizing side characters. Because, like, Julianne Moore plays, like, a doctor or a nurse in, like, maybe, like, 5 scenes. There's some guys that I recognize, like, the Scrubs TV show. The guy that plays the janitor has, like, 2 lines or something in this. Mm-hmm. the Jane Lynch is like a side character as well. A lot of people that I'm like, I recognize that guy, but that's where it ends.
I think that's the fun part about some of these movies, like watching the older, like from movies from the 90s and 80s, where it's just like, hold up, I recognize that random person in something now. But yeah, that's I'm also I think I heard people quote this movie before, where it's like, I think all I can hear them is doing their impression of Harrison Ford, just saying, "I did not kill my wife."
Like I said, that's literally like, imagine you run into the officer chasing you and all you say is, "I didn't kill my wife." And I was just like, no, hello, hi, or why are you chasing me? Just to didn't kill her.
What it was is we didn't see like the minute before that where that's what he's saying to every person he runs into. "I didn't kill my wife." And it's like, okay, guy, I'm just trying to order a burger. "I didn't." "I'll kill you though."
I like this goof that's like clearly thinking too much about the movie, but this is very much why I like the same thing that I do. I can't read all of it. It's a really long goof, but essentially the goof is explaining how Kimball has the worst attorney. Like, very early on in the movie, they say like, he must have killed his wife. His fingerprints are all over the inside of the house. It's like, yes, he lives there.
Oh man, what is it? No, it's not the same. Like, there's another movie that it has a similar premise, but it's like years later, like when he goes and gets all his revenge, and it's Law-Abiding Citizen. That's got Gerald Butler in it. And it's not a bad movie, but at the same time, I watched it like when I was in like my mid-20s, so it's like a lot of movies that are probably mediocre you think are really cool. But I don't know. The explaining The Fugitive, it sounds similar, but not like a carbon copy. So, but yeah, you got like 40 seconds left. Anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah, I think it's just, for me, it feels like a movie of conveniences where it's, they keep painting Harrison Ford's character to be the smartest guy in all of Chicago, but a lot of the things he does that supposedly make him seem really smart feel kind of like the things that I'll complain about young adult books for, where it's like, the plot armor is thick with this one. Like, it's very... Like, there's even... I forget. There was something else. Because, like... What was it? There's literally an officer holding the wanted poster, and Harrison Ford has shaved his beard, and he goes, "Hey, sir, have you seen a man that fits this description? He looks a lot like you, but he has a beard." And Harrison Ford goes, "In the mirror every day, bud, except, you know, no beard." And the cop goes, "Ha ha ha."
And then shoots him.
No, points at him and goes, "Your fly is down." And I'm just like,
got him.
But then, like, throughout the rest of the movie, he's constantly recognized, even though he shaved his beard. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's convenient at that point to be like, "Oh no, he's already caught, JK." And I'm like, yeah, okay. It makes it hard for me to believe in all of it when it's like set up like that. And then the other thing I struggled with is because they immediately wanted to get into the movie, the thick of it. They didn't give me any character development for me to care whether or not he gets away with it. And they decided to spread it amongst his actions. But I'm like, if he's really the smart guy who's trying to get away with things, why is his moral superiority getting in the way? Like, at one point, he's disguised in the hospital and decides to make decisions as a doctor. And then it wastes so much time and also gets him seen. And he's on, like, you know, a bunch of people are on his trail because of it. And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. He's a good guy, but could you have told me that in some other way? Like, but I don't know. If you have a U.S. Marshal chasing after you with a lot of guns and a helicopter, I wouldn't be wasting my time.
Yeah, you send your brother.
You send him in, or no, he has to volunteer himself to go up on the mountain.
While you go to the casino.
And try not to get harassed.
Except they were rangers, I think. Oh, well.
Different movie, different episode. Hell or High Water is a very fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
not that I'm saying. Anything. What I was about to say is that not that Hell or High Water isn't like this is not the example I'm using for this, but it is funny watching a movie that makes you appreciate a movie that you didn't appreciate as much later. And you're like, you know what? It could have been worse. And then it's like, wow, I have a whole new appreciation for the Elf after watching The Cell, even though that we watched them in the opposite order. We watched The Cell before the Elf.
You always have to bring up Twizzler Suit. Twizzler Suit needs a mention every episode.
At least once a season.
All right. So yeah, that's all I have for my movie.
All right. Let me turn my phone back on here. So, as I mentioned, there are some fun similarities. My movie has a train in it, a pretty significant train scene. I feel like this also starts off at random, and it's really funny because we both had a similar thing where we realized we watched the first movie, the top grossing movie, mine 1989 Batman, which I watched, and I was very, very, very tempted to watch it again because I really like that Batman movie. I think it is a very comic accurate Batman to the time that Batman came out. If that makes sense. I do like
that Batman. I just double checked who played like the Joker and all that, and yeah, this one's a fun Batman.
Yeah. And Gotham, I like Gotham, how that looks like. The set pieces are very 80s because it's like huge set pieces, everything. I love it. I think everyone should at least give it a watch, but I don't know if Christian Bale is your favorite Batman, then you probably won't like it as much, but I also don't think that is a good Batman movie. Anyway, I can get into that in another episode if we so wish. But I also watched the second movie. I looked it up, and I watched a movie called, as I'm writing down my time, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
You haven't watched this?
No.
Wow.
I watched
the Raiders of the
Lost Ark, and I watched Crystal Skull in theaters.
But not this one.
But not this one. And then I found out I didn't watch Temple of Doom either. But which is the one that's between Raiders and Last Crusade. Yeah, I had to relook at it again because I had to think about it because I seen so many, like I seen the end of this movie. So I knew like the last scene, what was going to be happening, and like and different things like that. So it's just I knew how it ended, and then I think I remember seeing a little bit of the middle, but never in a whole, as a whole. There we go. But yeah, this also is a movie that features Harrison Ford. It's Harrison Ford week, everybody. But yeah, the beginning of the movie, it was very confusing because it does start off like right in the beginning. Like the way it starts off is just like boom, kind of right in there. But it felt like the beginning of the movie, it didn't feel like it is giving reasons why Indiana Jones is afraid of snakes. Why is he so like against grave robbing? Why is he like pretty much all these character traits that I think were brought up in the first movie and then the second one that I didn't see And then like things that were also in the fourth film. I found out there's a fifth one as well that I didn't even know came out.
Is that with Harrison Ford, or is that with
No, that's
when they tried to revamp the series?
Crystal Skull was when Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be was his son, and I think they were trying to have him do it, but then I think he's also in the fifth one.
Okay.
So, and I don't think there's any more Indiana Jones, to my knowledge.
Dial of Destiny in 2023. My goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But yeah, so there's this huge train sequence of and it's pretty dynamic, but at the same time, it's like you can tell, oh, these animals are puppets. These snakes are puppets, and some of them are real, but then like there's stuff like that. There's a rhino that's definitely not a real rhino. And then like, oh, and in that, like we see him learn how to use a whip in two cracks, pretty much. Because like they had to explain, oh, how did Indiana Jones get that scar across his chin that I think Harrison Ford got in like a car accident or something? And so it's like, oh, it was actually the first time that he ever cracked a whip. He cracked it on his chin. But don't worry, guys. The second crack, he was able to subdue a lion. And then in the third one, he was able to pretty much hoist himself out of the train car. So he does all that, and he's like, this is my last thing. I'm no longer going afterwards. This artifact that I was trying to find for my whole life, I finally found it. Don't worry about the whole adventure, because now I'm on a boat in Harrison Ford's body. And I definitely murdered a whole boatload of people to get this one thing that belongs in a museum. He likes murdering a bunch of random people, and then everyone's okay with it.
He justifies it with museums.
Yeah. So he does that, and he's told this whole and he's like, "Yep, I'm all done. I'm going to teaching and all that stuff," and this person comes up and they're just like, hey, we think we found the Holy Grail. Can you help us? And he's like, dude, I'm not an expert on the Holy Grail. Like, I'm not here for this. It's like, no, we actually have all the research done. We just need someone to, like, go and do it because our expert has gone missing. And he's like, well, like, come on, guy, do I really have to do this? Like, you should really go talk to my dad. And you're like, well, funny story. That's who we were. And he gone now. And he's like, all right, let me go find my dad. And so it's the funny thing, there's a line in the beginning of the movie where he's telling all these these students that want to go into archaeology, hey, 99% of the work of archaeology is done in libraries. Mm-hmm. There's no time. The only time he's in a library is at the very beginning of the movie, and then it's okay, they're talking about fun goofs. He's like, why did my dad write? Oh, and his dad sends the journal. And so I'm also going to spoil this movie because this movie is over 35 years old. Like, I don't remember how old I was for a second. But yeah, he's like, my dad gave me this journal and here has all the information in it. And so he's like, they're in Venice and they're like, there's a catacomb somewhere, which I'm laughing because on IMDb, just like, hey, someone is taking it way too seriously. It's like, there should be no catacombs under Venice because it's on
it's all
water. Yeah. But there is. Don't worry about it too much. And so they go in there and he's like, it's him, his like buddy, and then this other doctor archaeologist girl that like they met up with, and they're like, okay, that was helping his dad study, and he's like, my dad wrote down these three numbers, what could it be? And it's like, oh no, your dad was stuck on that too. And he's like, wait a second, spread out. And he's like, this number's on this pillar, and this number's on this pillar. Where's the X? Where's the 10th pillar? What's going on? And he goes up and stands there. There's a giant X in the tile, and he's like, I found it.
Oh, wow, what a good detective.
Which is a joke about it earlier, because he's like, tells his student, another lines that he tells his students is like, it's not an X marks a spot. Normally it never does. And I'm just like, there's literally an X there. And so they're like, okay, we got to break this open. It cuts to the next scene. You can tell they put a whole different floor in this library because the X is gone. It's a totally different floor that he's standing on with everyone and breaking the tiles. It's like, what the heck happened? Like, they couldn't get the same tiles to keep it the same. It's like, the X is there. He walked down the stairs. The X is gone. What? But yeah, they break down and they go into the catacombs and stuff like that. And then, but yeah, then it goes around the world. Like, a lot of the archaeological stuff in it is more fantastical. It is, but an
adventure movie.
Yeah, but I think what I found more fun was the interactions between Harrison Ford as Indiana and who's his dad, which is I'm blanking on the name. It's a big name. Where is it? Sean Connery. And it's just a fun playing off, because it's like, Sean Connery, like, as the dad, is like, he's been so driven and focused on this of finding the Holy Grail, to where, like, there's like a whole point, like, he doesn't have the history, like, that he doesn't have a good relationship with Indiana Jones, and so there's a whole scene where they're there's Nazis in this movie, by the way, everyone. That's who they're racing to find the Holy Grail. So and this happens, I think it takes place in 1943 or 41.
Yeah,
I forget when it takes place, but it's like before World War II is like started.
Yeah, I have the Indiana Jones in chronological order, not release order. 1989's Last Crusade is set to take place in 1938.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah, I was a little bit off. I was getting actual World War II going on. So they do play with that a little bit, which is, I do think that there is some funny bits in there with, like, the way they're dealing with because they're the main antagonist, the Nazi Germany, at least this group of Nazis that are following them around, and so there's like one scene where he has to go save his dad, and when they do, they finally get out of like this camp, which is like a whole, like, camp is the wrong word. This castle that is being used as a headquarters for Nazis, and it's like they get out of there, and that's a really fun sequence as well, where like you really learn about Indiana Jones and his dad's relationship. But then they get on a blimp to leave there, because it's like Sean Connery tells Harrison, is like, hey, we need to go get my journal, because he's like, all my notes are in there. And it's like, well, don't you remember what you wrote? He's like, no, I wrote it in my journal so I didn't have to remember. And so he's like, okay, well, where is it? And they find out that it's in Berlin, so they want to go there. So they go there, and they get there, and there's a book burning event happening, and so like the whole Nazi party's there, and like Sean Connery's like, how are we going to sneak in? And he's like, don't worry, hold up, I got this. And Harrison Ford like punches some random German officer and puts on the uniform. He's like, stay here, Dad, I'm gonna go get the book. And he finds who has it, gets the book back, and he's like trying to leave, and then he kind of gets caught in the crowd, and he's like pulled all the way up to the crowd, and it's like the crowd opens up and Hitler's standing right there, and he's just like and he's holding the book, like his dad's journal. So Hitler's like looks at him, sees him in the army uniform, and like has this like face of like disgust, like everyone's frozen. He takes the book, opens up to like a random page, autographs it, and gives it back to him and walks away. And it's just like, Hail Hitler. Just like everyone leaves, and it's just like, I'm like, okay, that was a little silly. And then but then it goes on from there. They get on the blimp, and they're trying to get to where they're going, and they have this heart to heart. Like they try to have a heart to heart where Sean Connery is like working on everything just to make sure he understands what's going on, what the next steps are. And Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford's like, why can't we ever talk? Whatever's like, well, you have my attention now. What do you want to talk about? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, all right, well, we talked. Let's go on for what we got to go from here. And it's just like, that's their whole relationship. Like it goes on back and forth from that, and of just, and like Indiana Jones is like, I want to have this relationship with you, but you're being so difficult. And his dad's just not getting it. He's just like, well, let's talk. What do you want to know? Okay, you had nothing important. Let's focus on what we can do. And then there's a moment where he realizes like, oh, what's going on? And then he's like, I never told my son like how much I cared. And then it turns out that everyone's looking at the wrong cliff that he thought he fell off of. And he comes up and he's like, what are we looking at? So there is a lot of fun in this movie, especially between those two characters. There's it is funny just seeing Harrison Ford like growing up always being this older character, and now like he's still older, but like the seeing him in adulthood and just constantly be like, Dad, come on, let's do this. And it's Sean Connery, who's like is in all these other action films that he does as this as it, like he's known, but he's like this like nervous bumbling professor who's just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. So they're playing off each other. Is really fun. I could see why people like this movie. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of pieces where it's like, they talk about they're going to this like super secret like place that where the Holy Grail should be, and they're like, here it is. We had to go through all these places, and they open it up, and I'm like, that's Petra. Like,
I recognize that landmark.
I'm like, that's oh, I know what that is. that's literally just Petra. And then I was like, okay, I guess it was a little bit easier to just go into places and film like that. Like they go in it, but it's just like it's obviously something different, a different set, but they don't actually go in and destroy the whole place. But yeah, I could see why this adventure movie is so beloved by people, and then why Crystal Skull kind of just dead on impact from there. So like there was that. But from not seeing Temple of Doom and not watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, like the only scene I remember from Raiders of the Lost Ark is the last scene, which I feel like that's what everyone remembers.
Yeah.
So it's it's something that it's like, okay, I hope to check that. Like I do want to see Temple of Doom, because I heard good things about that. But yeah, I got to get there. But yeah, it was fun, and I think after watching this one, I now realize why other people, why a lot of people were saying, at least American audiences were saying why they liked Nicolas Cage in National Treasure, because it is a very similar thing, but instead of going around the world, it's all like American, like landmarks and stuff based off American history. So it's like, I'm like, okay, I can see how one was inspired, and like I remember someone saying like that's why, like when I was younger and I didn't realize it, like what he was trying to say, but it was just like, no, it's an American Indiana Jones, but like Indiana Jones is American, but it's all like
location
based, so it's just like we can, like, I don't know, if we go to certain places in Philadelphia, it's like, oh yeah, that's where
that is really old. Yeah, that's historically significant.
Well, it depends who you ask about old, because there's like places going to China that are like,
well, yeah,
but yeah, in context, but yeah, I know.
In the U.S., where it's like, you know, the oldest U.S. history is mainly within like the Philadelphia, Northeast.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it sounds like I enjoyed my movie a little bit more than you did. It does crack me up that we both watched Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just know I'm not the audience for it. I know I've watched all the Indiana Jones movies. The most recent one I rewatched was Temple of Doom. I don't remember all of them too well, but like you said, like, famously he hates snakes. Famously he uses his whip and all this other stuff.
It also showed where he gets his hat from. Like in this movie, it just shows
all like, of the lore that they didn't need. Yeah, feel like they needed to.
It's like, what? Why was this here? Like I know they had a young Indiana Jones, so I don't know if they were trying to like show this, if this guy was the young Indiana Jones, and they were like put like oh, let's connect these worlds a little bit. I don't know,
but yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched this one in particular. But no, I mean, at least with the Indiana Jones movies, it's like so ridiculous. You're just like, other than, you know, like you said, factually, like, that's suspicious. Why would these things be here? And this is just a landmark that I'm aware of. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's easier to just turn your brain off for Indiana Jones than it was for, like I said, a movie where they go, oh, this is Chicago, and this is the police system, and these are people, versus this is some vague time in the almost 1940s. Have fun.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it. My time's pretty much up. I'm done talking about Indiana Jones. But it was like, I was looking at Harrison Ford's like filmography.
Oh, that's a lot of movies.
Yeah, like he has uncredited stuff in 1966, like in some westerns, it looks like, or some noirs. And then a western that he's credited as Harrison J. Ford. And then it looks like he's in a couple westerns, and then throughout the 70s. Yeah, and then 1977 is when he's in Star Wars.
A New Hope.
Yep. Well, that time it was just Star Wars. There were no extra other ones. But and then after that, like, he just kind of exploded and was pretty much,
he was the guy.
Yeah. Like
yeah, Indiana Jones is 81 for the first one. Blade Runner is 82.
He was apparently also in E.T., but it was in a deleted scene. And then, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and then Temple of Doom, Witness, Mosquito Coast.
Oh, I see the Air Force One you were asking me about. Yeah, that was 1997.
Yeah, I was clicking around on Harrison Ford's thing, and apparently Trump said that that's his favorite movie, and I think Harrison Ford's like, I literally spoke against you.
Oh, he's in that Cowboys and Aliens movie that I keep forgetting did actually exist.
Yeah, there's a country song that's like got I think it's like Cowboys and Angels or something like that, and there's a guy at work that, like, whenever it would come on, he was like, Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, no, it's it's nice to see like how I don't know how old he is now. Hold on. I guess I could go to his IMDb. It should tell me there. He's 84. He doesn't look 84. Like he's definitely aged, but it's just for being in his 80s, like he's
doing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still acting.
Yeah. Yeah, he is in Captain America. I don't know what he's doing. If there's anything else going on, but yeah,
Yeah, it says he's in a TV series that's airing up until now.
Yeah, I think I saw people talking about it. Me. But yeah, no, it's neat to see people like that I remember. Like, it's not that I grew up with him, but it's just like he was a big name back then, like when I was growing up, and I feel like he's still pretty relevant and a big name, and hasn't had any, to my knowledge, terrible like news come out about him, as it seems like
he's done some icky things when he was younger. If I remember correctly, he was, like you said, he was born in the 40s, so by the time that Star Wars was coming out, he was a bit of an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Fisher, I think, was 16, and he might have hooked up with her while he was in his, if not 30, basically 30. So, but I mean, like, as far as like what we find out about other major male celebrities, like, you know, could be much worse of a person.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he didn't try to eat anybody.
That was never confirmed nor denied.
I think that's the more important part.
But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we spin that wheel?
Nope. I say spin it.
All right. I have the recording software available. I just need to actually open said wheel. There it goes.
It's time to spin that wheel.
Spinning it now.
Whee!
So our next prompt is a war movie that doesn't show war.
Oh, that's mine.
Yeah, that's one of yours.
So I have work to do next week. So, yeah. I guess technically we got to make a roll, but since we went long 2 episodes ago,
yeah, we said that we were gonna like not worry about this role, especially with us taking a longer break between all the different activities. And then I have a feeling, because we talked about books for a little bit and we were getting pretty yappy, this might also be a longer episode. We'll have to see.
I'm looking at it and we got to talk for like another 3 minutes. So, but yeah, so that is it, everyone. Let us know what your favorite Harrison Ford movie is. And did it come out when you were born? Yeah, so join us next week, and just thank you everyone for listening. So until next time, we'll talk about you later. Peace.